On December the 19th, we've got a new Star Wars game that we're starting up, and I was actually asked by one of my fellow players who also GMs and stuff, how do I set up my lobbies in Roll20? So I figured, you know what? We're just gonna totally pull up Roll20 and do it in Twitch and show you guys how we do it. So for the record, I've got a pro account, so if that matters to some folks, I know the API scripts that give you the cool Star Wars dice only work if you have a certain tier. I'm not sure if it's the pro or the one below it, but it's not the free account. I do know that. Looks like here I've obviously played way too many hours on Roll20. Okay, so we're going to create a new game. Easy peasy. So we're going to call it We Be Rebels for now. That's like the working title since it's a Age of Rebellion pro rebel anti-empire game. We're going to tag in here Star Wars just because. And you can go ahead and select some modules you have or free modules that different companies have listed. Like I've purchased the Monsters of the Week, Alice is Missing, quite a few different ones that you can have. They've got quite a few freebie ones, which is really great. Ah, yes, there's the City of Mist. If you haven't played it, play it. It's powered by the Apocalypse engine, but it's a really great game for having superheroes or detectives, really good game. You've probably heard me talk about it. So, choose your character sheet. This is the really important one. If you don't do a module, which all you do is click and it'll preload the module, you need to click the character sheet. So, for us, we're going to go ahead and click Star Wars, and we're going to go with the all the way down. The API compatible, because there's an alternate if you don't have APIs, but I like the API compatible. That's the one you guys see us use most of the time. So it's going to come up and it's going to show you little things here, and it's going to give you the wiki, which is really great. So that way you know how you're doing the actual character. So I will go ahead and click ready. So next thing you're going to need to do is you can go to content and drag characters that you've saved in your journal, which is really handy for GMs to bring in NPC stuff. Super, super handy. If you're looking to play live on, you can make on Roll20, you can make a listing, whether it's a free game or if it's one of those ones where you're saying, hey, please chip in like $2 a game session to your GM because, it does help. So you want to go down to API scripts and it'll bring up this little window here. And it's super easy to go in and put in Star Wars. And it comes up with the Destiny tracker and the dice roller. You need both of these. So first one basically gives you a little rundown on how how the dice roller works. And then you just add script. Does this little script run. Sometimes you need to come into your game and reload these. So just a heads up. And then we go Star Wars Destiny Tracker, because the Destiny Tracker is how the GM will be setting the difficulty up in most games. And it's super easy. Boom. And then you can go back to your game and we can go ahead and fill out some of the things. You can throw in extra maps. Like I have a lot of maps here. So if I had Star Warsy maps, I could drop them in the adventure so they would automatically be in the build, which is nice. You can add token sets. If you've built one, you can invite players strictly from here, which will send, if they're already in Roll20, you can shoot them directly to their email. And the nice thing is post, you can say, hey, the mission is this, blah, blah, blah. And it shoots it to the group. So we have launched the game. So I'll go ahead and put when the game starts, which is going to be 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thankfully, it knows I'm in Mountain Standard Time. When daylight savings hits, we'll be not in Mountain Standard Time. So we're gonna, do I have any Star Warsy picks on this computer? I don't believe I do. Yes, I do not have any Star Wars picks set up yet. So we will cancel and jump out of that. So let's go ahead and launch game. Might take a few moments because it's going to load all those scripts. Now, normally, yes, we're going to let it allow it to use the microphone. Hopefully there's no weird feedbacks, but you'll see there that the microphone is in chat. Normally, one of the first things I tell everyone to do is to go to settings and over here, use window pop-ups for your characters because that way your character sheet will not be trapped in this box. It'll pop up into another window that you can Alt-Tab to, which makes life so much easier for you. For this tutorial, I won't click that yet because I want you to see the character sheets pop up on the Twitch. Because if I do, they'll be in a separate window from Twitch, which is kind of annoying. And I normally will tell folks, because you can see my pictures from the Felis, since we don't do audio and video through Roll20, because sometimes it is sketchy, usually we use Skype. Some games we use Discord, depends on what's being streamed or not. I personally, as the GM, to clear up my screen, will go down to movable avatars, and I will go ahead and keep it at the bottom, but I will change this to names only. As you can see, it clears up some of the map. You can always pop it back and change it, but whatever. And the big one for the audio and video is I want to broadcast to others, nothing, and I want to receive nothing. And then you want to make sure you hit reconnect to change those settings. And sometimes when you're gaming, you might be disconnected from the group, not know it, and you can either hit reconnect or refresh or F5, depending on which one you like, to get everything back to where it should be. So in the game, now this is going to be from the GM's point of view, so you've got the drop down for all the maps and a few extra tools like, the fancy dancy special effects tools. But you see you've got the chat. This is where all the conversations will be going and all the dice rolls. You've got your art library, which, as you can see, I've got quite a bit in there. You've got your character sheets, which right now you only have one character, which is the dice pool. Let me make sure that pops up on the Twitch there. Yep, you can see in the Twitch. So this is basically like a player character sheet. So you've got the bio, which don't worry about, and the character sheet is going to be the top of the character sheet. Now, a lot of the new groups, I always like to add different stuff in. Like you can add the motivations, obligations, the duties, morality. One nice thing you can do in the settings tab is make sure that there is skill suggestions to help your players out, especially if they're newer. So you can add these all in and just to make sure that they're in there. And one thing you want to do is to make sure the first time you play, you need to set your destiny pool, which would be just like that. Then you click that. Over here, it tells you with a little bip that updated player destiny pool. Then you can clear it, excuse me, clear it, and it's each player on their character sheet, they have a way to roll dice. So I'm going to bring up my character generator, which I use Ogdudes all the time. Let's go ahead and pull up our droid, and we're going to make a character. So it's going to add if you want to make a folder, hangout, or handout, or character. So we're going to say character. And again, I'm going to check to make sure you can see what I see. Yep, you see what I see. So do I have a droid? I don't know if I have it on my cell phone, the droid picture she wants to use. So since it's pretty much a placeholder and I don't have the ability to give it to any players yet, that's why I keep it like that. Because I like to let people log in first and then they can get access to their character. So just click save. And now you've got the character sheet. Looks just like the GM's up here where they can add extra dice to their dice pool. So we're going to do some quick alt tabs here. So her droid total XP for her is 225 and 0. Credits is currently 0. Anea is the player, and apparently I'm hot dog fingering Her career is a ace rigger, which if you guys watched earlier when I built the character, and then she also took universal. This is where my eyes just don't work. Scavenger, there we go. So that's in there. Let's see. Character's motivations, which let's get over to it. So I do some quick copy paste because copy paste is king and it makes life so much easier. Her motivation is conflict, squadron. And then, of course, later on, I'll type it up for her or let her do that as she chooses. Okay, so her duty is, let's go back to the duty page. Tech procurement and only 5. And we don't need to worry about morality. So then we go to the skills tab and you notice the stats stay the same. So she is a 3 in agility, 4 in intelligence, and 1 in everything else because she is a droid. Her wounds are 11. And her strain is also 11. Defense is at 0, soak is at 3. So anytime she takes damage, she negates 3 damage right off the top. Okay, so let's go to her skills page because droids thankfully have a lot of skills. So as you see, as soon as you put a rank in and you click out, it updates that to the skill. So we've got first career skill is cool. I always like to check those because it's good to have that checked. Then we've got gunnery. Check. And in cool, she has 1 rank, but in gunnery, she has 2 because she's going to be one of the pilots. Then we've got mechanics. And she has 2. And in her mechanics, she has, one of the things, if you look at the modifiers here, you can put modifiers in there. So on her skill as a mechanic, because she has Utini, she's -1 setback dice, which is the black dice. So she has, the code for black dice is BLK. So in her mechanics, you would type -1 BLK. And when you roll it, go over here. I want to make sure it works. You should see the minus symbol there. So what'll happen is when you add a black die and click mechanics, you notice the black die is not there. If we didn't have that there, let me copy and delete it real quick. If we didn't have it there, you'd see that it pops up in the dice pool. So it's just handy dandy to put in there so that way it's in there so she knows that, hey, you don't have to stress that stuff and make sure it automatically comes out. Then we've got perception. Because it's good to make sure a fighter pilot can spot things, but no skill. Then we have pilot planetary, and we've got 1 rank. Then we've got pilot space, and we've got 1 rank. Then she has career skill of ranged light, which is in the combat section. Yes, this little astromech's going to be packing a pistol. And then we have resilience, which is, by the way, the Constitution save of Star Wars. A lot of people forget to put points in it. You may want to make sure you put points into it. Just saying. Then we've got career skill streetwise. That's thanks to the scavenger. And knowledge underworld, which is down in the knowledge section. They kind of break it down to knowledge skills, combat skills, and everything else alphabetical. So streetwise, survival, and underworld. Because, being a scavenger, you need to know those skills. So you know how many potions the thing could be worth. Okay, let's check, see what's going on. Okay, so that is the skills. And of course, you can add custom skills in there as well for special things that you have in your talents. And then we have specializations. So normally I'd bring up the PDF that we have of these things or the character sheet and manually type it. So this is where you pull up your specializations and talent and special abilities. So first one she's got is Gearhead. The next one she's got is Signature Vehicle. And yes, there's spell check, which is nice. And then she has Tuned Maneuvering Thrusters. And Gearhead on page 136. Signature Vehicle is on page 33 of Stay on Target. And Tuned Maneuvering Thrusters is page 33 of Stay on Target. And then we have 15, 10, and 5. And those are all passive. Now, as a scavenger, she has picked up Utini. And that cost 5. Then she picked the next one down, which is Tinker. Wait, page 145 of Edge of Empire. 10 points. And then she took exceeded specifications. And that is on page 39 of Rise of Separatists. That's the Clone Wars book, which has got some really cool trees and talents. So no force powers, no signature abilities yet. And then we're going to run over to, actually check to see my DoorDash to see if my delivery's coming. Oh, they're only halfway here. Perfect. Equipment. So for a pistol, we're going to add the weapon. We have a liquid silver L7 blaster, which has, not everything needs to really be put in, but I'm going to put in the hard points is 1. I'm sure she's going to mod that pretty quick. Damage is 6. Crits on 3 advantages. Is medium ranged. Uses the range light skill. This is really important to click. Condition is brand new. And we're going to put in the page number just because in case she needs to look it up, it's there. And what else does the pistol do? Okay, so then if you click this, you can shoot it, and all the information comes up here, as you can see. Let's turn off that black dice. There we go. Damage 6, crit 3. Each success adds to that 6 damage, so it's beautiful 11 points of damage. Of course, we had no difficulty dice. You know how that goes. So that is the weapon. Let's see what else. Our astromech is coming packing a arc welder. It does damage 3. It's engaged. It uses the melee skill. And it does have a stun. Which, by the way, I need to put that in the blaster pistol, that the blaster pistol does have a stun setting as well. Now, one thing you want to make sure is you don't have any spaces or commas in there, and when you click, if you just get gobbledygook that pops up here, it's probably something in the qualities section that you put in there. So just a heads up on that one. Okay, so the arc welder does not crit, by the way. And in the background, one of our puppies is whining because she wants in the room to go to bed. It's the saddest mew ever from a puppy. So Foamcaster explosives. Despair. Let me show you what I mean about when you put in the qualities. We'll see if that came in the format that it likes or not. So it's going to be 5 to crit. because it's really not meant to kill. Damage 3. Skill is mechanics. And the range is short because most explosives can only be thrown a short distance. So we test. Perfect. Everything came up right. Ooh. So I'm not even going to bother with unarmed because basically for our droid, it's a 1-point attack. I mean, what the heck? Anea may want to ram somebody for 1 point. As the case may be, you never know. Let's put that in just in case, because it's better that than dealing with it during game session. Because that's the one nice thing with Roll20 is if you have everything set up, gaming is pretty much just as smooth and easy as it is in person. When you're at your normal game table. If you have to come up with something on the fly, it is a bit jolting to have to tell everybody, "Hey guys, take 5," so that way you can fix that. Okay, perfect. So there's the brawl. So that covers our combat skills, our weapons, and then you go to item inventory, which is easy for me because on the UgDude character builder, I can just click tabs to go to these different items. So the droid is wearing armor, which is already figured into the soak. It's got some really nice features. And the nice thing is you can't open that. I don't know why it says acid. It's really nice to have that. And that's soak 1. Obviously, I've been playing the wrong games when I'm hitting Q instead of 1. All right, and I'm going to take a quick 5 minutes because apparently my DoorDasher is at the door. So I'm going to go greet Ashley with a mask from a nice social distance space and get that set up. Because we then have gear, which this droid has got a ton of gear because that's kind of what the little mechanic is made for. It's all about the little mechanic-y stuff. So I'll be right back. Hey guys, sorry about that distraction there. DoorDash guy here and gone. Got some supplies, got some cranberry juice, because here at the Creative Playing Podcast household, we got a couple chest colds going on. Winter is here. So let's get back to statting out Aenea's droid. So let me spread out the page some. Let's see how this copy pastes. Sometimes it copies well, sometimes it doesn't. So for communications device, she's got the Hollow Messenger. So that way, just like R2, you can have little messages pop up. Then we have utility belt, which is something every Star Wars character should buy. It's super cheap, but super handy. For 25 credits, it gives you a nice pick-me-up. So there's lots of data entering. And of course, the Foamcast does lots of good things. And of course, you can make things a little bigger so it's a little easier to see. And of course, you can move items up and down too as well, which is nice. Because Ane is a fairly new Star Wars player, so it's good that she'll be able to see what exactly these items are rather than normally with most of my experienced players, I just dump these all into personal gear and they pretty much know exactly what they do. But since Anea is a newer player, which we're always trying to get more players, into learning the system, playing the game, it is really nice to have everything listed out so she knows exactly what it's meant to do. And as a droid, having an emergency repair patch is the best way to keep yourself alive. And then one of the most important cybernetics any droid can get is the ability to have an escape circuit to get past restraining bolts. It basically lets you, instead of making a 4 purple difficulty check, you make the check at a beautiful 1 purple discipline. Which makes life so much easier for droids, because that way you can let somebody totally put one on you, and then you're just like, yeah, I don't believe in it. And it's kind of funny how they make the advantages look. We are almost done with Aenea's character here. Back down to gear. This is an important one since she's the rebel group's technician for keeping things going. And there are so many books in Star Wars now. I mean, we're still hoping now that Edge Studios has taken over for Fantasy Flight Games, since they've kind of parceled it out to a subdivision of the company, that we still see more stuff coming. I'm still hoping to see something from The Mandalorian, some, good stuff for the new stuff that got released on the Shareholders Day, because they announced a ton of new Star Wars stuff. which is going to be really important. Which, by the way, if you have seen the new Star Wars stuff coming out, definitely drop in the comments what you're most interested in seeing, because we've got like a massive list of what we want to see in the new Star Wars stuff. I mean, that, and I don't want to throw any spoilers out in the Twitch, but we're caught up to all but next week's episode of The Mandalorian, which I believe is the season finale. And it's going to be a humdinger season finale because all kinds of crazy stuff happened. Crazy stuff. And of course, it's funny when we're watching Mandalorian. I often, when I've got folks in person, I'm like, and that's a despair, and that's a triumph, and that's, something awesome happening right there. He's spending his two advantages to do that. Because of course, once you start playing this game, the actual mechanics behind it start to make so much sense for the narrative dice. And by the way, the reason the droid has the cargo scanner is totally for stealing things to go with one of her duties, which is to, get stuff. Because, sometimes you got to be able to scan the cargo containers in a hurry and find out what's inside them. So this droid is going to be doing a lot of mini jobs, which makes her for a great character. She can pilot, she can shoot from the cockpit, she can, oh, wrong one. She can, of course, be the group's emergency beacon if need be. The only thing I didn't get her, because I didn't have enough cash for it, was I wanted to get her rocket boots or a jetpack. Sadly, I did not have the credits for that, because that way she could be like R2 in Clone Wars or Choppa in Rebels. Because it's nice when you can be able to like just fly around. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we've got everything in there. We've got the gear, the armor, the weapons. Got the stats. This is the button you would push to excuse me, to roll destiny points. When you start your game for the day, everybody clicks to roll destiny points, and it automatically pops up here in the pool. Sync with GM is also very important to make sure you do, because that way it immediately you noticed it showed 1 and 1. Because as the GM, on your first time you sync with everyone, you have to have 1 and 1, and then you can clear it and players can roll. So also, because she is a pilot and she does have a vehicle, let's go to her character sheet to her vehicles. She currently has a S3 Y-wing starfighter. That's the two-seater starfighter. So even though she'll be hiding in the socket, she can still have two people in the ship. One can be her gunner for the turret, which is really nice. So let's get the stats. She's got 1 and 1 for shields. That means it adds a black dice to defense. She has +1 handling, which means it adds a blue dice to all your piloting rolls. Speed is 4. And silhouette is 3. Armor is 3. Hull trauma is 12. And by the way, that's the basically the wounds for the ship, and system strain is the strain for the ship. The vehicle combat is pretty much the same thing as personal combat. Just kind of like, you figure any shot from a vehicle to a person will crit automatically. Just flat out straight crit. Okay, got that. Copy the page number in case it asks for it. This way she's got it in case I ask a question and she's like, don't know. Okay, it is not a restricted vehicle. Sorry, let me scroll mine down. So, hyperdrive is class 1. No nav computer. That's what our astromech is for. Sensor range is close. Ship's compartment. That's how many folks can be in it. Does not have a backup hyperdrive. Rarity is only a 4. All that, Clone Wars era scrap. Consumables. It's only good for about 1 week, but congratulations, it's being ran by a droid, so the droid's just like, meh. It is not restricted. She's going to get to name her ship. Hard points is technically 1, but since she's got her custom vehicle, she's added an extra hard point to it. As well as, do we have a features tab? We don't, but let's see what we have. We're going to put it right there. That it's her signature vehicle. She gets to upgrade the signature vehicle, upgrade the ability of all mechanical checks made to this vehicle once, 1 increase handling, and by 1 mod. So she's more agile than the others because she's modified her vehicle. Okay, then the fun parts. That's going to be the weapons. Okay. And it's a turret, so it's 360. Its damage is 5. Its crit is 4 because it's ion. Range is close. It has the qualities of ion. So this way, if she clicks this, it's her gunnery. There you go. Boom. That's a hell of a shot. Okay, so for 2 advantage, you have a shot of 8. For 2 advantage, you could either crit or use this advantage, this triumph here, to have linked 1 happen twice. So it hits 8 and 8 for both barrels. The nice thing is if someone's her gunner, they can go ahead and put, themselves as gunner NPC and then click to shoot it, which is nice. And then her next weapon, because of course these weapons have a ton of weapons. And this is going to be the one that's exclusively for her. It's a forward firing arc. It does 6 damage and crits on 3, which is average. It has close range and linked 1. Bam, bam. Because these things are beasts in a fight. Oh, wrong spot. Missiles firing arc forward. They damage on 8 and crit on 2, which is insane. Nice thing is they are short range, which is right before fighters can shoot you. You can fire torpedoes at them. And they have a ton of qualities. Oh, see, that would be a horrible missile shot. You could actually have used Link 2 for both of them. So that, you fire both torpedoes. I mean, that's horrible. Breach 6 means it ignores 6 hull damage, hull armor, I should say. So you always do damage. You can pretty much, with one good shot of a missile, take a TIE fighter out of the sky. Okay, so is there anything left in the vehicle? We have no hard points yet, no passengers. Nice thing is when you have passengers, you can assign them different things. You know, okay, so that is pretty much it for her character. She is done and entered. And of course, when you're finished, you just X out. I'll close the dice pool. And when you look, character will be right here. You just click and open it up. And I'm going to double check something real quick. And catch me a drink. As it's time for some cranberry juice. Diet cranberry juice, so it's vitamin C without all the sugar. Okay, so that is Aenea's droid, and we have the lobby set. Really easily, I can show you we've got, I'll need those pages, but we're going to make a quick splash screen. Save that to my pictures, come back, my library, upload. As you can see, all the different games we're playing, we've got stuff loaded. Choose a file, gonna go with this one. And I always like to make, when you have the game set, start is the first one. And here's your modifications for it. You can copy, you can delete, you can do your settings to change the size and whatnot. You just grab the image, drag it over. Excuse me. Couldn't hit the mute button in time. And then move the layer to the map layer so that we've got a nifty reminder of what game we're playing. And of course, then when we come through here, let me see if, I don't think I've got an astromech that I've loaded in a long time. Star Wars maps. Here we go. So we have an astromech. You can go into the settings, basically say, boom, that is Aenea's droid. Show the nameplate. They've recently changed some of these features, which is nice. So here you can go and type in wounds, and it shows the wounds. You can click here to let other folks see it, which is nice. Let everyone see how wounded you are. So I like to do wounds, strain, and then soak. So over here, we're going to say strain. Boop. Because after all, when you see your astromech's about to blow a fuse, you know when you can see when that's a thing. And then here we have soak. Boom, just like that. Now soak I leave to just the player because the other players wouldn't conceivably know how bulletproof you are. And so the nice thing is the other players will see the wounds here and the soak here and your character's name, but only the character will actually be able to move the character. So also another thing you want to do once you click on that in the token, you pull up your character, click edit, and click use selected token. So that way it's got it in there for anyone that pulls up your character can see that that's your token. Alrighty guys, so that's, I'll go ahead and step in with the talents for later to fill in all the details, and then I'll be adding in Scott's Spy Guy. And pretty much that's going to be the first two of our characters. And then I'm going to let the others, because I'll pretty much go click. And we'll say, and one thing to make sure you do is in the journals, it'll put a little dot. That way the other players can see that character. It is really helpful to see that, you've got other players in the lobby. And when the players come in, all you have to do is come down to here where it says can be controlled and edited. Their names will populate. You click Save Changes, and now your players have complete control of their character sheets. And then, of course, since we're starting next Saturday, basically I'll hit everybody up and say, find me some pictures that you'd like for your character. All right, so that will pretty much cover us there, and that's probably a good place to wrap it up and call it the night. Since it is Saturday night, I want to get some gaming on. Since I have Star Wars tomorrow at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, you'll be seeing our Clone Wars era group having to deal with the cluster that happened last week where both their vehicles got blown up out from under them. It was not pretty. Alrighty, guys. Like always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and please feel free to hit us up on Patreon at patreon.com/cppn. That way you can get in on the games that we're running. Because, like, hey, half this group, we're all folks that signed up on Patreon to play. So definitely make sure to keep an eye on it and give it a shot. We should hopefully be starting another game as well, probably Sundays. I'm thinking. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna put it up on the Patreon page to vote, but that's just something to keep an eye on for you guys. All right, have a good weekend, and everybody stay safe.